Welcome, my name is Barney Reese. I'm the author of How Blessed You Are in God's Promises. Today we'll talk to you more about the concept of the universe and becoming the best version of you. What if everything that you ever wanted was inside of you? And you was looking outside of you and you was praying for an outside source when you were that source and you were attached to that source. From what I've studied, you are part of that source. You truly are the spark of God. Now, it takes a little while to be a light because you're made up of 30 trillion cells, a heart that feels, and mind, this is a supercomputer, or more than that, usually 15 supercomputers or more. And you have over 400 billion bytes per second. That's 60 to 70,000 250-page books writing 000 in each one of those. So these are some of the things that you are becoming. Now, when you change, have you ever heard this saying, you are what you think? You become what you think? Well, this is true. Most people decide to go and be a doctor. And they go to school and they start and they keep studying and they keep learning it, even though it's very hard. It's 7, sometimes 10 years, depending on what you decide to do to be a doctor. And you take a lot of classes from science to all that to be a doctor. Then you have to go on to so long before you can even be a doctor. So when you see a doctor, you should be happy to see them because they went a long time to do that. Some people become nurses and then they go back to school, become a registered nurse, and then they go back to school and they end up becoming a practical nurse, which is just right under a doctor, or they may decide to be an anesthesiologist, which is they'll have to be in this. The reason I'm telling you all this, sometimes you have to work at what you're doing, and people get depressed and upset and say, I can't do this, and guess what? You can't. You are what you think. Learn to change the way you think, and you'll change the way you are. So these are some of the things that you can do. You can listen to affirmations at night. You can get in front of the mirror and say, I am whatever you're trying to become, at least 10 times a day, every single day. I recommend after you get out of the shower. Nobody's going to see you but you. You need to learn to love yourself. I recommend you say, I love yourself, and smile real big and say, I love myself 25 times a day. And I do this every morning. And just close your eyes and feel that love. You are a cosmic, spiritual, vibrational light being in a body having an experience. What you experience is what you focus on. This is how they beat you. They have you playing video games. They have you watching movies. They have you listening to music. How can you focus on anything if you never give yourself time? Learn about the hour of power. These are things that you must learn to do. Nobody can do this but you. You are your worst enemy. You, nobody else. You don't have to worry about somebody coming about or doing anything against you. You do it all yourself. Some of you have a thought and you won't take action. Law of attraction is the law of action. You are made of frequencies, high and low. The low frequencies are going to be depression, anger, and things of that nature. You will be in a fight or flight mode because your subconscious runs 95% of everything you do has no sense of humor. So if you are listening to being a loser, you will one day feel like a loser and you will start acting like a loser whether you are or not. This is how they beat you. If you really want to get good at money, you study money. If you want to get good at something else, you study those subjects. You have all the information at your fingertips. YouTube is a wealth of information from different books that you would later on in spirituality alone, you would be sitting in a library in a dingy dungeon almost, reading a 2,000 or 10,000 page book trying to find the information that you can get now for almost free or pennies on the dollar. These people are not making a fortune on what they're giving you. And it's all around you. You can choose whatever subject you want. Audiobooks are free. All you have to do is either download them or just listen to them and go on about your way. I have learned a lot by listening to books, and I'm constantly listening to books. I make my car my classroom, and I'm constantly studying something to give it back to you. I meet people every day and I tell them about my website and about what I'm doing, and that I'm on YouTube, and it's Barney Reese 5573 if you're interested, or YouTube or TikTok is Barney Reese 7. At TikTok, either way, I'm at both of those, and I do TikTok first. That's why you'll see the TikTok sign a lot of times. Then I transfer it to YouTube so that I can save it as well as keep it for later on. Maybe my son will want to listen to it. Maybe others want to listen to it. And as I study this stuff, I just share it with all of you. I don't have to. I don't even have to do these videos. I spend 5 to 10 minutes a day. People say, well, why don't you spend longer? I don't have to. What I'm giving you is gold. I wish that somebody would have gave me this when I was younger, because I would be a lot further than I am now, because I would have believed in myself and I would have started doing things that I'm teaching you to do. There's a lot of shysters out there. There's a lot of people saying, if you'll give the biggest amount of money, this and that. And those that want to live in abundance, this is how you live in abundance. You feel abundantly. When you find money from nowhere, be thankful from the universe gave you that money. This is not fiction. A lot of The Matrix was a documentary teaching you about some of the things that these people have done. And they do this on purpose. Remember, the satanic cults and stuff like that want to show you what they're fixing to do so that they don't feel like they have any problem. So if they're showing you something and then it happens, hey, I'm guilt-free. I didn't know that was going to happen. You knew. You should have prepared for it. That's how they think. There's always going to be evil, and some people are going to focus on it to the point they're going to miss all the good and the beauty of this world. You are in a vibrating energy universe. That means everything vibrates, everything's moving, everything's this way. People say, well, I'm not making no progress in this. This stuff doesn't work. Here's the thing. As long as you're breathing and you're moving, you're making progress. There is no fast track way to do this. I wish there was, because it would be a lot easier for me to finally achieve my dream life and teach it to all of you. But you keep working on it. I believe in the snowball effect. The snowball effect is very simply, you are a snowball at the very top. Think of yourself as a BB, and over time, the things that you are learning become part of your life, and you get better and better if you're focusing on skills. You all have talents. This is the light. This is making you a light being. If you give those talents to somebody or help somebody to overcome something, then you've done some great things. There's people that are movie stars and they forget where they came from or who that they helped them to get there. Eminem's a good example of that. He had a friend of him that helped him to become Eminem or Slim Shady. Now, he may never admit that, but if without him, he probably wouldn't be where he's at today. So maybe one day him and his friend will make up and be friends and say, thank you for what you did, brother, whoever he may be. The point is, somebody's helped you. This is the life that they gave you. Learn to do that for others. Try to make this heaven on earth. Don't wait for something that may not be there. You may have been lied to. You may have been conned. Maybe you're a spiritual being and you're supposed to make this a better place before you leave for the next spiritual beings that get to come here in a body and have an experience. Have you ever thought about that? Most of you focus on everything that you can do and you miss how wonderful this world can be. Some of you get mad because you're single and you don't realize how great that is of being single. Now you get to pick who you are going to date. You get to write them down. You get to choose the characteristics you like about that person or don't like about that person. You get to let the universe help you find the right person in your life, and they just gyrate to you. This is a conscious level. This is what you do, a quantum shift. You're shifting into the next level in your life. And you may not believe this, but every time you get a promotion, every time something great happens to you, that's a quantum shift. It may be a small change to you, but it may be a big change. That I'm a firm believer, if something moves one place, something moves somewhere else in this universe. So I don't believe nothing happens by accident. I don't think you meet people by accident. I think you're there to guide them in a way that they would never understand, and then you back away. Sometimes I talk too much because I love what I do. And that's teaching you to be a better version of you. That's it. Les Brown said it the best. He says, I see greatness in all of you. I see greatness in you. Sometimes the Buddhists will say, I see God in all of you, and you don't understand it. You are made in its image, in his image, in its image. I don't think it's a male or female. Anyway, my time is up. I hope you enjoyed this. Love thyself, for you truly are well loved.